Over the weekend, I learned two things. I learned, one, I need to take care of my health. And two, I need to start small with my vision. Now, what do I mean by this? So I'm going to run through my whole weekend so you can get a concept as to what I'm talking about. So over the weekend, starting off on Thursday night, I end up having dinner with my strategy professor, Mitch, and my friend Erik. And we met during our strategy class back in December of 2023, or back in fall of 2023. So we meet back then, and we only had 6 people in our class, so we got really close. So after the class ended, we decided to start having dinners every 3 to 6 months. So we have dinners every 3 to 6 months to catch up on what our lives are doing, what are we up to. So Thursday night is one of those dinners, and the professor ends up asking me, or asking us, hey, what are you guys gonna do after? What are you guys gonna do with your lives? What is your long-term vision? And so I told the professor, my long-term vision for my life is to one, confirmation burp, is to one, set up, my long-term vision for my life is I want to set up a multidisciplinary healing clinic. So I want to set up a healing center, a community center for healing. So think about, as of right now, the way that the medical system works is that you have to go to different locations for different doctors, different specialists, different things. So if you want to go to your primary care doctor, you got to go to one location. If you want to go to you got to go to a GI, a specialist, you got to go to another location. You want to go to a brain doctor, you got to go to another location. You want to go to a back doctor, you got to go to another location. You want to go to a heart doctor, you got to go to another location. So I experienced that myself whenever I got sick, whenever I was throwing up blood, whenever I had gastritis, fatty liver disease. I experienced all these things of having to go to all these different locations. And I was like, this is so annoying. And I'm young. And imagine for people that are older that have to do this all the time. This is so annoying. Why isn't everything in a centralized hub, in a centralized location? And I started thinking about, there's all these malls that are dying across America, all these brick and mortar malls. What if you converted those from a mall to a healing center, a location where people come to heal, a location where all your doctors are, where all your specialists are, where all your nutritionists, acupuncturists, nutritionists. Let me think. What's the other one? All the natural health, chiropractor, massage therapy. All of these are in one location. That's my vision. That's my long-term vision for my life. I want to create these healing centers where people come and heal, and also where communities come and thrive. So where people come and hang out and have a good time. So there's going to be playgrounds. There's going to be gyms. There's going to be spas. It's going to be all in one location. And that's my long-term vision. And another shorter-term vision but also long-term, is I want to create big events where people feel their emotions, where people are just they go there to learn about their emotions, and then they feel all their emotions while they're there. So they go through an emotional roller coaster while they're there, and they come out completely transformed, or at least bare minimum, they have a big weight off of their chest, in the sense of they finally felt into the emotions that they've been suppressing for years. Because that's what ends up happening with a lot of people, is they suppress their emotions, especially in the Hispanic community. I can speak on the Hispanic community because I'm part of the Hispanic community. I'm sure that it also happens in other communities, is that we suppress our emotions because we're told that emotions, men aren't supposed to feel emotions. We're not supposed to be sad. We're not supposed to be crying. We're always supposed to be strong and keep going. And so we suppress our emotions for a long time. And that's what I did when I was younger, because that's what I was told and that's what I knew. But later, when I was going through my sickness, when I was sick and I was throwing up and all that, I end up doing whatever the doctor told me for 4 months. And that didn't end up working out. And so I started to go on the natural healing path. So going to a chiropractor, going to acupuncture, going to a nutritionist. So I started doing all these natural things, and then I started healing myself. And so I'm like, whoa, this is really cool. This is really, really cool. And so I also learned about emotions, and like, you need to listen to your emotions. And if you don't, you start to suppress your emotions. And whenever you suppress your emotions, they stay in your body, and then they end up becoming diseases, because disease is dis-ease. It's your body is not at ease, so it's constantly not being at ease. You end up developing diseases. So this is what I end up learning. And so, like, what if we were to teach people how to listen to their emotions and to work with their emotions, as opposed to suppressing them and not listening to their emotions? Because your emotions are telling you something, and so you need to listen to them and to what they're saying. Or sometimes you just need to sit with the emotion and just be like, yeah, that's how we feel right now, and that's okay, right? You don't necessarily need to act on any of these emotions. So I tell them all this long-term vision for myself, and how I'm creating this content so I can put my mission and vision out there, so that people can attach themselves to my mission and vision, and help me get to where I want to go. And I can help them along the way as well. And so I'm telling them this, and I tell them about my podcast that I got, my Main Character University podcast. So I'm telling them all these things, and I ended up at the end, I'm like, Professor, what do you think about it? And so he tells me, he starts thinking about it. I'm like, what, like, as a strategy, from a strategy perspective, how do I make this work? So he starts thinking about it, and he says, you got to focus on one thing at a time. Focus on one thing at a time. Reiterate it, make it better over and over again, and then move on to the next thing. And so that's how you're going to start developing yourself, and you're going to get to where you want to go. But if you go and spread yourself too thin all over the place, like, it's not going to work out as well. So I'm like, okay, thank you, Professor. And I started thinking over the weekend, like, how do I make that happen? How do I focus on one thing? And that's when I decide, well, I didn't decide. I ended up going to an event. I ended up going to working a volleyball tournament at the LA Convention Center. It's a really big volleyball tournament. Like, thousands of people came. I had no idea how big it was. But I just, like, it was my cousin. She has an event planning company, or like she like helps with events. And so she asked me to come help her. And so I went to go help her. I was getting paid. So I went to go help her. And one of the, like, I was helping with like admissions, with wristbands. And at one point, excuse me. Oh my gosh. At one point, she ends up placing me at the front of where people walk through that already have their wristbands, or they have a bag tag. So a bag tag is just a card that goes on a player's bag, so that they can demonstrate that they're actually a player, versus a wristband is just a regular attendee of the event. And so I'm sitting, and she places me there, and so I'm like checking wristbands. I'm like telling people, wristbands, everybody show me your wristbands. And bag tags, make sure you have your bag tags out, because a lot of people have like their bag tags hidden in their bag. So I'm like, take it out, because security is going to go check it. Because if you don't have them out, or if you don't have it, like, security is going to send you back down, and you're going to have to go and get your bag tag, or you're going to have to go and get your wristband. So I might as well catch you now before you go up and you have to walk back down. And so she places me at this job, and I'm just like seeing so many people flooding in, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot of people. And I was like, wow, this is so many people. And like, I felt very overwhelmed, and I was like, whoa, if I really want to throw these big events, like, I'm thinking about stadiums full of people, like, I need to start off slow. Because this is like too much for me right now. And like, for a couple hours, it's fine. But once you're sitting there for 4 hours and you have thousands of people crossing you, and like all different types of emotions, thrown at you. Just like you got some people really happy, you got some people sad, you got some people angry, but most people for the most part are either indifferent or like happy, you know, like, so that's like the majority of people, or majority of people are indifferent. Like some people are happy, but some people are sad, and it's like some people are like good morning, and so it's like a flood of emotions. It was just a lot. So I end up just thinking to myself, I'm like, whoa, this is too much. Like starting off at this scale where there's thousands of people to start off with is too big. I need to start off small with just like 10 people, or like 5, 10, 20, maybe even 30 people in a classroom, maybe over Zoom, and going through these workshops, teaching people about emotions. And then I can reiterate those workshops, and I can do it a lot quicker because I can host a workshop every week on, like, let's say breath work, and then I can fix that. I can fix that modality and just like reiterate it over and over again, and like improve it, and then I can move on to something else and improve that. And then eventually, when I have a full collection of workshops that I have completely ironed out, then I can throw it on the big stage or start making bigger stages where now I invite 100 people, 200 people, 500 people, 1,000 people to come out to an event, 2,000, and then eventually working up to 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 seated stadiums, and bigger if they exist. I'm not exactly sure. I imagine they do. But it's like, that's how I work myself up. That's how I iterate. Because if I go straight to the really big events are cool, but the really big events, I may be able to do one like once every 3 months, once, twice a year. At that scale, it's really hard to iterate because iteration is literally repetition. It's really hard to repeat or to get your at-bats. So essentially your practice. So it's harder to practice at that scale because you only get 1 or 2 practices a year, which isn't really good. Whereas when these small scale events, I can practice every single day, once a week, at whatever scale that I need. And so I realized that. I was like, oh, wow. So now I'm like thinking back to what the professor told me. I'm like, this is exactly what he's talking about. This is where I need to start. And so I was like, wow, that's a really great insight. Another insight that came over the weekend was my health. I need to focus on my health. So at first I was doing wristbands, and I was standing up for over 4 hours just doing wristbands. I was getting really tired after like 2 hours of standing. My legs were getting fatigued, and I was like, you know what? Like, if I'm going to do what I'm going to do in my life, I need to focus on my health, because my health is extremely important. It's extremely important. It's extremely important. It's extremely important. Like, if I can't stand up for over 4 hours, like, how am I going to throw these big events that are going to be like 3 days long over a weekend, like 8 hours each, like event, maybe even longer? Like, how am I going to do that? So I need to focus on my health so I can build up the stamina and the endurance to handle all of it, right? So I can like be the best version of myself so I can get there to where I want to go. And I was like, wow. So to reiterate everything that I've said, to exemplify everything I've said, one, what I learned over the weekend is I need to slow down in the sense of, like I got these big scale projects, but I need to slow down and make my projects smaller and do those over and over again. And then I'll like start slowly growing those. And then 2, I need to focus on my health. I need to get healthier so that I can accomplish everything that I want to do. Because if I'm not healthy, I won't be able to accomplish it. I just won't, right? Because at the end of the day, your health is your wealth. And in order for me to be wealthy, I need to be healthy. And in order for me to accomplish what I want to accomplish, in order for me to complete my mission, to complete my mission, and to foresee my vision, to bring it into fruition, I need to have the health to do it. So that's what I learned over the weekend. Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty excited about my learnings. Let me know what you learned over the weekend in the comments below. All right. Thank you, guys. Talk to you soon.